Morgan Rogers and Maxence Lacroix are now Chelsea players. Could Bruno Guimarães be next? Hi, this is Terrace 9 TV. We'll be discussing about two formations that Xabi Alonso could use with three exciting players: Morgan Rogers, Maxence Lacroix, and potentially Bruno Guimarães. We'll be discussing the 3-4-3, a formation he used at Bayer Leverkusen, and 4-2-3-1, a formation I'm sure he wouldn't be ignoring because of Chelsea's incredible attacking depth. So last week we had Morgan Rogers join the football club, and by Friday we had received the amazing news that Maxence Lacroix would be next. Maxence Lacroix will be completing his move from Crystal Palace to Chelsea Football Club for a fee of £52 million. Now Maxence Lacroix and Chelsea have history. After Chelsea won the Champions League in 2021 under Thomas Tuchel, Lacroix was one of the centre-backs heavily scouted by the club. Now Lacroix didn't move to Chelsea in 2021. He stayed at Wolfsburg, continued his development, and moved to Crystal Palace in the summer of 2024. Now since he's moved to Crystal Palace, he's been only second to Virgil van Dijk when it's come to the most number of clearances made by a centre-back. It shows you in what elite company Maxence Lacroix has been in. If you look at that list, you see so many top Premier League centre-backs, and it's a shame we have not seen a single Chelsea centre-back in that list. For a club of Chelsea's stature, for a club which has produced so many great centre-backs, to not have a single centre-back in that list is shameful. But now that's going to change because Maxence Lacroix is a Chelsea player. Now Lacroix is a very proactive centre-back. Stylistically, he reminds me a lot of Antonio Rudiger. He's got great pace. He's very dominant in his own box. He's also very good in the corners at the opposition box. I remember him scoring a fantastic header against Manchester United away from home for Crystal Palace. It was a fantastic header. It was a great ball in, and it was a looping header which Lacroix scored. It was amazing. Now after Maxence Lacroix, another player who could be joining Chelsea is Bruno Guimarães. Now, let's not get the facts twisted. Arsenal are still favourites for Bruno Guimarães. But Arsenal are penny pinching. Arsenal did the same thing with Morgan Rogers, and now it looks like they're doing the same thing with Bruno Guimarães. Arsenal have agreed the personal terms with Bruno Guimarães. It's just the transfer fee that has to be agreed with Newcastle. Now, Arsenal were supposed to bid £70 million for Bruno Guimarães, and most probably that new bid, second bid, which Arsenal was supposed to make, is going to be rejected by Newcastle because they are not interested in accepting £70 million. Now, publicly, Newcastle has always said that Bruno Guimarães is not for sale. But now when the player wants to leave the clubs become powerless. And now with Bruno Guimarães turning 29 soon, it's time for Bruno to explore a new club, to try a new chapter in his life, and it seems like he's keen on Arsenal. But there's another London club keeping a very close eye on Bruno, and that's Chelsea Football Club. Now there are many Chelsea sources and many Chelsea insiders, likes of Simon Phillips, who I think is a fantastic journalist. He's always stated that Chelsea have been interested in many Newcastle players. Now some of these players are Lewis Hall, Sandro Tonali, Bruno Guimarães, and Nick Woltemade, the tall German striker who plays for Newcastle. Now Tonali has gone to Tottenham Hotspur. Bruno Guimarães is still at Newcastle. Now with Bruno Guimarães, the club has put out briefs, so-called briefs, agent briefs, or briefs to the top journalists that Chelsea are not interested in Bruno Guimarães. Now I won't go too much into these briefs because I think clubs do this all the time. Last summer we had the same brief on João Pedro, that the Chelsea is not interested in signing João Pedro. Chelsea is interested in Benjamin Sesko, maybe in Victor Gyökeres, but Chelsea ended up signing João Pedro anyways, and the rest is history. João Pedro was critical for the club to win the Club World Cup. Now Bruno Guimarães is an unbelievable midfielder. I think he is the most complete midfielder, most complete central midfielder in the Premier League. If you go and check out whoscored.com, It's not often you come across a player with no significant weaknesses. Just check out this graphic from whoscored.com. A player with no significant weaknesses, imagine partnering him next to someone like Moises Caicedo. Your midfield would be complete. Not only does Bruno have no significant weaknesses, this is actually covered up by facts and stats. Now have a look at the stat from Squawka. Bruno Guimarães has won the most duels by a midfielder since 2023-2024. Moises Caicedo is number 5 on that list and Bruno Guimarães is number 1. It's not just duels that Bruno wins. Bruno is so much more than just winning duels. Bruno has scored 21 goals and provided 19 assists. That's an average of 7 goals and 6 assists, which is incredible for a club of Newcastle's stature. Now Newcastle, they often experience very high achievements like winning the FA Cup, finishing in the top 4, and the following season they dip. But Bruno Guimarães has always been consistent in his performances. Now there's been talk of other midfielders as well, which we can't ignore, likes of Alex Scott, Adam Wharton, Manu Kone, and many more. Even names like Carlos Baleba from Brighton have been whispered to Chelsea fans. But Bruno Guimarães is complete, and I think Bruno Guimarães can't be ignored. Now many Chelsea fans say for a player turning 29 soon, £80 million or £85 million is a lot of money. But Chelsea's in the business of winning things. We can't be signing 16-year-old Ecuadorian kids all the time, can we? We need to sign proven Premier League capable players, and Bruno Guimarães certainly is one of them. Now let's see how these players would fit a 3-4-3. Now in goal we have Robert Sanchez. In an ideal world, everyone would love to see Mike Maignan and Diogo Costa over there, with Pender sitting on the bench. But we have to do with Sanchez. What can we do in that? Chelsea were penny pinching last summer for Mike Maignan, a player who should have joined the club last summer. At right wing back we have Marco Palestra, our new signing from the Serie A. Now Palestra is someone who was destined to join Inter Milan. Again, Xabi Alonso has worked his charm and signed him from the clutches of Inter Milan. Now if Palestra is joining Chelsea, he's not going to be sitting on the bench. He's definitely going to be starting. At the right centre back we have Reece James. Now Reece James is an unbelievable footballer, and he's someone who should be in the right wing back position. We all remember his incredible performance in the Champions League final against Raheem Sterling. He locked up Sterling. Sterling was in his right pocket. But Reece has suffered so many injuries and so many setbacks, and I see it impossible for him to play the right wing back position. Right wing backs and wing backs in general in Premier League require a lot of stamina and physical fitness. And I think Palestra is better suited for that than Reece James. Reece James would make an incredible right-sided centre-back. I could see him playing that Cesar Azpilicueta role that he played under Antonio Conte in a back three. Reece can play that role even better than Azpilicueta because Reece has so many more qualities. Now in the centre of the back three, we've seen Maxence Lacroix. Now this could very well change if John Stones joins the club. Lacroix could be moved on the right-hand side of the team, right-hand side of the back three. But right now I've put him in the centre because this is a role he's played under Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace. On the left, we see Levi Colwill. Now Levi Colwill shouldn't be a stranger to this role because he's played a similar type of role under Roberto De Zerbi at Brighton. And when Mauricio Pochettino joined the club, Pochettino played Levi Colwill as a left back, as a left-sided centre-back who would go up and down the field a lot. Now he was playing that Josko Gvardiol role, and I think Levi would be very comfortable playing this left-sided centre-back role. At the left wing-back, I've gone for Gerald Hato. Now, I know a lot of people will say, why haven't you put Lewis Hall or Pep Chavaria? But I think Hato is really being underrated. I think Hato is an incredibly talented player, a very technically gifted player. Now, this is a player from Ajax's school of Ajax's Dutch school, which is, producing some of the most technically gifted footballers. We can't be ignoring Hato. Hato is an incredible talent, and I think last season was his, crash course into the Premier League. This season he's going to be performing a lot better for sure. Now in the middle of the park, I've gone for Moises Caicedo and Bruno Guimarães. Yes, I know Bruno Guimarães is a fantasy target, but I think as Chelsea fans, we should just dream of, signing Bruno Guimarães for our club. I've put other names as well, likes of Adam Wharton, Manu Kone, and maybe Alex Scott as well. But for now, let's go with Guimarães and Caicedo. The front three is Morgan Rogers, João Pedro, and Cole Palmer. I can easily put Estevao and Giovanni Kenda, and maybe even Jamie Gittins on the left-hand side. But right now, we've gone with the most probable front three. Now, switching on to the 4-2-3-1, we see a back four. We see a back four of Palestra or James at right back, with Maxence Lacroix as the right centre back, Levi Colwill as the left centre back, Jorel Heto as the left back, and of course Sanchez in goal. In the midfield, we see Moises Caicedo with either Bruno Guimarães, Adam Wharton, Alex Scott, Manu Kone, maybe even Carlos Baleba in the middle of the park. For this formation to work, it's very important for Chelsea to sign the right profile as the number 6. They need to have the right partner next to Moises Caicedo. In an ideal world, we would love to see someone like a Tchouameni come from Real Madrid, but I think that's going to be a very expensive deal for Chelsea to pull off. And if Tchouameni ever ends up leaving Real Madrid, I could unfortunately see him going to a Paris Saint-Germain or maybe a United or a Champions League playing club. It would be very difficult for Chelsea to convince Tchouameni to join the club. Now, in the front four, we see Cole Palmer as the number 10. We see Morgan Rogers as the left attacking midfielder. And we see Estevao Willian as the right attacking midfielder with João Pedro up front. Now, this is a very fluid front four. And I think this front four can win Chelsea so many games. This front four is very easily interchangeable with other players on the bench. You can easily bring on Jamie Gittins to play on the left and move Morgan Rogers as a number 10. You can easily bring on Giovanni Kenda to be on the right hand side and take Estevao Willian off. You can take João Pedro off and bring on a Nico Jackson or Emmanuel Emega. Now, with Estevao Willian, Chelsea have to ease him in slowly from his injury. Estevao suffered a nasty injury towards the end of last season, and it's one of the reasons why he missed out on the World Cup squad. Giovanni Kenda is another fascinating player joining Chelsea from Sporting Lisbon. Now, in an ideal world, we would love to see Giovanni play on the right-hand side of the attacking trio or the attacking four players. We don't want to see Giovanni Kenda play as a wing back because Giovanni has so much to offer going forward. If he plays as a wing back, he would have to do a lot more defensive work. Now, this could all change depending on the transfers that the club make till the end of August/1st September. But this is how I could see Chelsea line up. If you like this video, please like, comment and subscribe. And we'll be making many more videos coming soon. We'll be focusing on other players as well. Players like Alex Scott from Bournemouth, who doesn't want to sign a Bournemouth extension and he wants to leave the club. Bruno Guimarães from Newcastle, who also wants to leave the club. Enzo Fernandez, a player from Chelsea who I don't see leaving the club. Many players, even players like Vinicius Jr. from Real Madrid, who are possibly looking at newer adventures, maybe Premier League towards Arsenal or even PSG. Please like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for your time.